Hello, today we're going to be talking about the recent crowdfunding approach changes that 343 Industries posted yesterday on the official HCS Twitter account and Halo Waypoint forums. What I'm talking about is this crowdfunding approach and updates. And I have several other tabs open, as you'll see, that prove how upset people are with this and a few things I want to point out. So, basically, Halo Infinite's crowdfunding, which was the in-game store, was going to be used to boost the prize pools of HCS events, which it has done for the past year. And people were hoping that Worlds, the big grand spectacle of the year, with all the top teams from each region competing against each other, would have the biggest prize pool and have the most crowdfunding put towards it, as it has done in previous years. Halo 5 had a $1 million prize pool for Worlds, and that got increased to like 1.5 million or something as a result of prize pool increases through crowdfunding. 343 just announced that Halo Infinite will be removing crowdfunding from Halo World Championships, and instead we'll be putting that crowdfunding towards year 2 of the Halo esports entire ecosystem. And a few people have expressed how they wouldn't even have bothered to compete for the entire year. I'm talking about Snipe down here. If the prize pool was revealed to be this months ago at the start of the season, rather than now. The main problem here is that it's a week before Worlds, and they've announced the decrease of prize pool essentially a week before the event, which is just terrible, like, planning. It feels last minute for some reason, like they've decided. It almost feels like the guys at like the upper management of Halo, not HCS, the separate entities we're talking about here. The upper management of Halo have said, we don't want to put game sale funding or something into HCS for year 2. So what you're going to have to do is take the crowdfunding you got from year 1 and keep the scene alive using that. It's almost like HCS Season 2 wasn't approved for funding, or at least not the level of funding that like Tashi was hoping for or something. So this is what he's had to resort to. So we did get an FFA pricing increase to 25,000, which is still incredibly low. The original Halo World Championship free-for-all pricing was 5,000. Now, traditionally in Halo, free-for-all is how players got their name out there, because landing yourself on a 4v4 team is not necessarily about how good at the game you are. I would say that probably 80% of landing yourself on a good team in Halo and many other esports is networking. It's who you know, it's where you are, and it's at the right time. And that's just how a lot of business works. You don't necessarily have to be the best at something, you just have to be the most connected person in the room, and you'll get somewhere. So, free for all was the way that people were able to kind of, get their name out there and say, look, I don't have a team of people, I'm not known, but I'm good at the game. Someone contact me after this free-for-all event that I've just won and put me on your 4v4 team. Here's the proof that I can deliver. Nobody wants to compete in these free-for-all events anymore because the pricing is so low and it's being neglected. So yeah, a few people angry here. No crowdfunding for Worlds. Tashi says the Worlds prize pool will stay at 1 million, which is huge. Yes, it's huge, but it's also lower than your previous 3 years in a row. So that's worrying. Your prize pool has gone down. In fact, the crowdfunding prize pool boosters for the past 3 to 4 years of Halo total the same amount as the entire Worlds of this year. All the crowdfunding for the past couple of years totals this 1 million. So that's worrying. He believes that it will help bolster the scene and add more tournaments and having a wider approach and bigger impact, blah, blah, blah. I'll be honest with you. As somebody in the industry, I've had my own game studio now for almost 2 years, and I previously worked in another studio for about 6 months. This is worded like a PR approach which is basically a disguised way of saying, fuck you guys, we took the money. This scene isn't big enough to, give it this level of funding, basically. That's what this is worded like. This is the exact kind of thing that upper management or a publisher or an investor would tell you to say to kind of push backlash away from you, but it just doesn't work. People see through it. I'm sure if I click on this, somebody's going to say, this is not the move. False promises, yeah. Wouldn't it make sense, new approach to do this within a new year? Yeah. Seems unsustainable. Nice. Literally, this guy is PR speak for we took the money, and many people agree with him. Stop trying to defend it, take the L. Yeah, there's many people that agree here, and they see through this. Pros obviously very angry. Lethal, there's still time to unupdate this crowdfunding approach. Snipe down, they're taking away crowdfunding for 4v4. That would have been nice to know a year ago, which is when he ditched Apex for Halo, thinking Halo would have a decent scene, and obviously it hasn't. Formal, disappointed to say the least. And then obviously Lucid as well, arguably the best player in the game right now. Blessed to have a championship to play for with $1 million prize pool. That's great. Not many people have this opportunity, but it's really disappointing, as he said, to be told a week before something that this is happening. The best way to try and understand this in terms for people who live day jobs and think, oh, it's $1 million, how are they complaining, blah blah blah. I'm one of the people who I work a normal day job. I am annoyed at this because I understand it from their point of view. To understand what's happening here, this is like your boss at your day job coming to you and saying, hey, you know that annual salary increase we promised of $4,000 this year? Well, we're not going to give it to you now, even though you've worked really hard this year and you've attended every single day on time and done all that was asked of you and more. You helped promote our company through in-game skin sales and selling our merchandise and getting people to use our product, play our game. But we're taking that money away from you this year, and instead we're going to drip feed it to you potentially next year, or maybe the next 4 years, right? So that's like your company saying, yeah, we're not going to give you this $4,000 bonus. We're going to give you an extra $1,000 for the next 4 years. You'd be pissed, right? You'd be really pissed because you don't want that. You expect $4,000 up front if you were told that's what you were getting, and then you'd hope that next year maybe you get 2 or another 4 or another 2 and another 4. That's what you expect. So that's that side of things. This has gained a lot of traction. Jake Lucky spoke about this as well. As he says, pretty wild to do this a week away from Worlds because crowdfunding was one of the best things that Halo Esports was doing. Crowdfunding was a great way to monetize esports and keep the Halo esports scene alive. This he mentions as well. Snipedown says he would have never switched from Apex. The best approach they could have done here is just change nothing. This is worse than what you had before. Yes, people before were angry about free-for-all only being 5,000, but you increased it to 25. You could have still done that. $20,000 for Halo is nothing. Halo probably makes $20,000 in a day. Regardless of how bad people think Halo Infinite has done and how on a downward spiral it is, Halo as a franchise is massive. Halo as a franchise has made 6. You can see it here somewhere. Here you go. Halo as a franchise has sold more than 81 million copies and brought in almost $6 billion of revenue. $6 billion. There is no way that the Halo franchise as an entity is in debt or anything right now. They have a fuck ton of money. They just don't want to invest it in Halo Esports, which is why people are pissed off. Something else to bring up and touch on here is this is the Halo World Championships from 2018, okay? This is 4 years ago. 4 years. The prize pool for first place was $500,000. The prize for first place in Halo Infinite is 400,000. There is a $100,000 decrease for first place over a 4-year timeline. Yeah, 343 keeps mind-boggling us. It seems every few weeks there's something going on with this company. I don't know if this was the plan from the beginning, and they just, I don't know, like, forgot to announce it or something, or maybe they wanted people to stay interested, so that's why they didn't mention it. Maybe they thought, like, oh, if we tell people that Worlds doesn't have funding 4 months ago, people wouldn't have attended these tournaments. That's probably what it is. They just didn't want to say. It's probably been in the plans all along. Because there's no way you make a decision like this 1 week before your event. This must have been something that they had in the pipeline for months. A decision like this won't get through that level of like management and the HCS people and the event organizers and whatever. It won't have got through that in such a short space of time. Final thing, I don't even know the legalities around this. This is like having an Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign and using the money for an entirely different project. I don't know if this is even like allowed, really. I don't know how 343 does their crowdfunding stuff. I don't know if they like, contractually are obliged to spend that money in that area or something. I'm sure they find a legal loophole if there is, but it sounds like a lawsuit waiting to happen if somebody big enough was to attempt it. Like, if all the players were to try and make a big deal of this, then it seems like something would happen. But I don't know. So that's all for today. I wanted to go on a little rant about this because I see loads of other people doing it, and it's the only kind of Halo content we can really put out that's actually going to get traction these days. Basic gameplays on Halo just don't get any viewership anymore because the fan base isn't there, the audience isn't there. So yeah, disappointing once again from 343. Hopefully in year 2 they can turn things around, but it feels like we've been saying that for the past 5 years, so who knows.